Murder, She Watched contains adult themes and adult language. Listener discretion is advised. Murder, She Watched is for entertainment purposes only. Kyla.
Oh, Amy, today's the day.
You know that I always say empathy is my superpower, right?
Yes,
I can find it in anyone.
You really can. It is your strong suit.
I got none.
No, same.
I got nothing.
I have nothing redeeming to say about this woman. Never have, never will. I feel confident saying that.
I'm trying to think okay, how old is she at this time?
At that time, the time of trial or time of crime?
Okay, so she was born in 1986.
Yeah, I thought her.
So this all went down in what year?
2009 is when Caylee went missing.
So 2009 minus 1986. Yes, I can't do this in my head.
No, I can't
either.
So
she's 23. Okay. My girls are 19, almost 20.
Yes.
So I'm trying to is there any grace I can give this woman? Is there any world in which I'm like, maybe a bad thing happened here? And
right.
Nope. No, I got nothing. I hate this bitch. I got nothing.
I do too. I hate her, and she's so hateable. She's so hateable. It's like I texted you the other day. I forgot what a smug little snot she is when she talks to anyone. She's just so like, everything is an inconvenience. Why would you ask her about her missing daughter, Amy?
Yeah, she's in
jail.
You're exactly right that she's a snot. That is the perfect way to describe her. She is.
Yes.
I don't know. I don't know. It's something about her. She sets me off. I can't. Guys, we're talking about Caylee Anthony if you haven't figured this out. Yeah. I mean, who's the most hated mother on earth?
Yeah, as they say on this many times. Brown. No, touche. Yeah. They can have the trifecta.
But they didn't murder anyone that we know of.
Fair enough.
On purpose, anyway.
Well, Robin, I see you with animals. I'm just saying.
So, guys, we're going to talk today about Caylee Anthony, an American murder mystery, right? Do I have that right?
Yep.
We watched this. It originally aired on ID, which you could tell.
It's very ID.
And, I found it on Discovery Plus. That's where I watched it.
Yes.
Did you watch it there as well?
Yes, but I did see it's on Plex for anyone who doesn't have Discovery Plus for free.
Okay, good. Good to know.
So
good to
it is out there. And they have a lot of random documentaries on there. I'm going to comb through that after this.
I need to talk about the jankiness of this documentary.
Yes, very much so. Is it even good. ID without Beth Karras or Diane Dimond?
Okay, I love Beth Karras. Don't get me wrong.
I know.
I love her when she's telling me about Natalia Grace. I don't need her here.
Yes.
At least the other woman, what's her name?
There's Diane Dimond and then Jane Velez-Mitchell. We get a lot of Jane Velez-Mitchell.
We do. At least Diane Dimond is a reporter.
Yeah,
I mean, what was Karras is too, and she was like a lawyer, but I don't know.
What was her big show?
We didn't need the dude from the fucking Inquirer.
Oh my God. Why?
No.
Why?
No.
The National Enquirer, there is no one on this planet, I believe, that thinks that is a credible piece of media.
She's not on the planet anymore, but my Graham lived and died by the National Enquirer.
I forgot. And she really believed it. She really did.
Smut mags, quote unquote, smut mags. Yes.
Oh, I love that for her though.
I would come over and she would be like, wait to hear what Hillary Clinton did. And she would lay out a thing. And I'd be like, Graham, that's not true. And she'd be like,
sources.
I read it in National Enquirer. It's true. Like, okay, I'm done with this.
Oh my gosh. I love when you walk by the stand at the grocery store though. I love the headlines. They're fun.
So I didn't love the documentary overall. I thought that she needs the Sky Borgman treatment.
Yes.
Caylee deserves that.
There
was so many missing pieces here.
Oh, they leave out so much.
This was just a very quick overview. So for those of you listening on the free feed, we are going to dedicate our month on Murder Club, which is our $8 tier, to digging into this further. So some of the other documentaries that we'll be covering over there are Caylee Anthony, Where the Truth Lies, which apparently is a Peacock travesty that happened in 2022. And then Caylee Anthony's parents, the lie detector test in 2024 on Hulu, which I already saw.
Same.
But I kind of forget what happened, so that's
Same.
good.
Yeah, I'm excited to touch back to it.
And then Kyla and I will do our signature deep dive, we go real deep. Yeah. And then we're also going to have a feedback episode. So if you want to dig deeper on this case, please join us over there.
It'll be fun. And I'm going to Jeff Ashton, the prosecutor. I listened to his book several years ago, right after we bought our house. While I was painting, I was listening to that book, and I'm going to listen to it again because it was very good. And this case, he's pretty outspoken, was pivotal to him, and it completely changed his life. And he quit working in law after this.
I should say too, also on Murder Club, we're going to have 2 episodes of True Crime Headlines this month. So
I'm so excited.
Just chatting about headlines. That'll be fun. And we're bringing in Judge Karen to weigh in on the Caylee Anthony case, because there's a lot of legalese we need broken down, and she does that so well. So I did reach out to her. She's game.
Wonderful.
And she's
good.
Yeah. Okay. Let us begin, shall we?
Let us.
So we open with Cindy Anthony calling to first of all, okay, so I'm in one sentence and I'm getting in.
I know.
Cindy Anthony, pick a fucking side. Pick a side.
Cindy and George, Cindy on her own, George on his own, them as a couple are an enigma.
Yes, I need every detail about this. We need to hit the Reddit boards hard on this.
Yes, because if I'm not mistaken, they still don't align on what they think. They've been on opposing sides for years.
This is like a liberal and a Trumper being married.
I don't understand
just gonna
say that.
I don't understand it. How does that happen?
Or like fundamental religious differences, like big things that they're going to cause a lot of problems in the long run.
Or not, your daughter killed your granddaughter feels like something you need to be aligned on.
Like, right? And, we always talk about elephants in the room. Can you imagine? Like, how do you have a light conversation about, like, hey, what do we need on the grocery list? And then something little sets you off, and this, you know what I mean? I don't know.
Cindy even, all right. So I'm sorry. Let's keep going. So we hear her 911 call to the police on July 15, 2008 in Orlando, Florida. She wants her 22-year-old daughter arrested for stealing her car. And she's very calm.
She says auto.
She's very calm, but like she keeps saying, somebody needs to come out here. Somebody needs to come out here.
Do you feel like she's being very vague?
Of course.
Yeah, there's been a theft of an auto.
Yeah. My mother always says vehicle, which I think is weird.
So proper.
Oh, by the way, real quick, speaking of my mother, because she's coming to the meetup in August for us. But the indie meetup, September, what date?
12th.
September 12th, guys. There's a Murder Club meetup in Indianapolis. We'll be putting out more details as they come.
Yeah, we are scouting out locations. Yeah, there's local indie area couch detectives scouting out a couple locations, and I owe them all the thanks.
Okay. So the police get out there, and first of all, they find a chaotic scene. They find Cindy and Caylee screaming at each other.
Yep.
And this is the first time Cindy has seen Caylee in weeks.
Yes.
Were you calling her? Was there what?
That's what I'm saying. And I know as we go into more of the documentaries, we'll get into this because they do not go into any details about this really on this episode, I feel like.
So the police get out there and Cindy's like, by the way, I've also been told, my daughter finally confirmed it, that my granddaughter has been taken.
Oh my God.
Okay. Cindy and George participate in this. I think it's interesting if you notice that they introduce themselves as Caylee's grandparents and not Casey's parents.
I caught that too. Yeah.
George was a former cop and Cindy is a nurse, and they live what looks like the average American life.
Absolutely. Just very generic, everyday, two working class people living middle class dream, right?
Yep. Caylee is their only daughter. And Caylee is the light of their lives.
Yes. And, again, minus her brother. Her brother has never done anything. He won't talk. He won't do anything.
Right. She does have a brother. She's not the only child. She's the only daughter.
Yes. Yeah. He lays very low.
Do you blame him?
No. Can you imagine, Amy?
No.
Oh, nope. And your parents, too, are so polarizing. Like, poor guy.
So we hear from Cindy that at 19, Caylee got pregnant and she never told them who the father was. What?
Can you
What?
imagine? Okay, here we go. You have 19-year-old daughters right now.
I do.
Can you imagine one of them comes to you and says that she's having a baby but I'm not going to tell you who the father is. In what world are you and Timmy like, all right.
No world. No world. So Cindy claims, yes, Caylee was nervous to tell me she was pregnant, but I was thrilled. We were very close and I was going to be grandmother. Really?
I just don't believe that, Cindy. I'm sorry. I don't believe that
Listen,
you weren't excited, but
my mother was
but
a teen mother in 1974.
Mm.
She had to tell her mother that she was pregnant at 17 and a half years old. And even then, my grandmother was like, ugh,
yes.
This is not what I want for you, but okay. Right?
I think that's the typical reaction, right?
And that was in the 70s when this was so common. Like,
yeah.
I don't buy. Listen, no shame to teen pregnancies
I agree
or
completely.
Unexpected pregnancies. I'm the product of one.
I have one.
I have an unexpected. I don't have a teen pregnancy.
I have an unexpected.
Yes. But my thing is I just don't buy it that Cindy and George were like, okay. So
Yes.
I would have preferred her to be more forthcoming and just said, look, we really struggled with this. But in the end, we got there.
She's acting like it was a celebration. And I'm, again, with you, I am not saying she's not, but I feel like what you said is usually the reaction like, okay, wasn't what we were all planning on, but we got this. We're going to figure it out.
So Caylee says she dropped Caylee off at the babysitter's and the babysitter just refused to return her. So Casey's like, okay, I guess I'm going to go out and party.
Oh my God.
I'm burning with hatred.
I know. It's just in her flippant attitude. Like, well, yeah. What? The babysitter wouldn't give her back. You know?
She was last seen on June 16th. And this is, what did I tell you? July 15th. It's been a fucking month.
A month. A 2.5-year-old child. You have not seen in a month.
Caylee is supposedly an event planner at Universal Studios.
How early 2000s of her. Isn't that was such a thing in the early 2000s, being an event planner.
And she dropped Caylee off on her way to work. And after work, she went to pick her up, but the nanny was nowhere to be found. And, she kept calling the nanny, but the phone was disconnected. So she was like, I don't want to go home and face the music on this. I'm just going to go to my boyfriend's house.
It'll work itself out, Amy. She'll figure it out. The toddler will come home.
Cindy and George had never met this boyfriend, and she says she didn't call the police because she was afraid the nanny would harm Caylee.
Make that make sense, Casey.
So if I were the detectives, I would immediately be like, give me your phone.
Yeah.
Let me see these phone calls and text messages to this Zanny the nanny and figure out what's going on here. Did they do that? We don't know.
Per this episode, no. But I'm sure they've had to have gone through phone records, right?
I hope so.
I hope.
So Caylee just throws some random woman under the bus and says the name of the nanny is Anita Gonzalez, and she goes by Zanny the nanny. She's about 25, and she's been her regular sitter for years now. I'm so confused by this.
This is where Caylee is such a fascinating enigma in some ways, because the blatant lying and knowing that you have nothing to back that up. You know what I mean? And that's very easily provable.
I would say this is white man confidence. So I don't know where she's getting it from, but it's wild to me, the confidence with which this girl lies.
She and Taylor Parker, the confidence with these lies.
And Laura Owens.
Yes. They'll just like, nobody's going to question what I say when you can.
Is it okay? So my daughter told me about this thing called, and I obviously have no experience with this. My daughter told me about this thing called pretty privilege, where you're just so pretty that you just say things and people believe them. Is that what's going on here?
Maybe.
Is this how hot people move through the world?
Listen, you just say shit and people believe it. But I mean, Caylee is like, we can, objectively speaking, she's beautiful.
She's beautiful.
She's beautiful, and she has a fabulous body. Like,
so is Taylor Parker. So is Laura Owens. Like, it's these very pretty girls.
Yes, and I think especially, I assume more like when men, they can get away with a lot with that, right? And Caylee, I think, did that a lot. This was something Caylee did to manipulate people.
The detective is like, okay, why don't you take us? We're going to immediately go over to Zanny the nanny's apartment. So they get over there and she's like, there it is.
And again, okay.
No one's home.
It's empty.
Okay. He looks inside. No furniture. Apartment's vacant. The police are very concerned at this point. Why are they not? Okay.
I know. They go along with her shtick for a little too long, right? I don't know.
Jane Velez-Mitchell is what I call Nancy Grace light.
I'm going to restrain myself to not do her voice because I want to.
She's a more palatable Nancy Grace, right?
Yes. She's a little less aggressive.
Mm-hmm. And she says, this is a nightmare. Detective Yuri Mellick, right?
Yeah, Yuri Mellick.
Talks to the apartment manager and they're like, yeah, there's never been anyone by the name Anita Gonzalez here. Like, I don't know what you're talking about.
And that specific apartment's been vacant for months.
So now they go talk to Casey's coworkers at Universal and the boss is like, who? What?
This is one of my favorite parts of the Caylee Anthony saga is the Universal of it all. I love this.
So now they set a trap for her at Universal. Oh. I love this too. And listen, I am not a reenactments fan. Okay.
No.
I'm not a fan of the reenactments. Now, the novel, the reenactments, yes. The memoir, yes. Yeah. But not this.
No, these are rough.
So, like, I'm okay with the reenactment here because it's hilarious. But I'm not okay with the Caylee reenactments.
No, it's gross.
No. So Casey, the fake Casey, walks into Universal Studios and is like, "Hey, Tony," to the guy at the gate, and he's like, "Hi, my name's Joe, but what's up?"
I like how they said everybody's like, "Hi, who are you?"
They're following her through the hallways, and she's like waving at everybody. Yeah, and everybody's like, "Hey,
I don't know who you are."
They finally get to this locked door and she's like, okay, I don't work here anymore. And they're like, finally, girl.
We know. And again, I want to know what was in Casey's mind at that moment. Like, how long was she going to commit to the bid? Right? Like,
yeah.
Were you just going to keep walking? I don't know.
We hear the audio of them questioning her now because now they're questioning her at the police station. And Casey insists she doesn't know where Caylee is. And she keeps saying that she is terrified that her mother will never forgive her. And that's why she lied. So this is where, when we do our deep dive and stuff like that, we need to drill down on the relationship between these two.
That's such a telling sentence that your child is missing and you're worried that your mom's going to never forgive you.
And that's what they ask her. And so she still doesn't say where she is. She still sticks to the story that the nanny has her. The cops say she was not upset. She seemed to have no sense of urgency. Could you imagine your precious baby being gone? 2 years old for 30 days.
When Luke was 3, this happened. He was missing
Zanny, the nanny, kidnapped
10
him?
minutes. Yeah. Zanny came to our house. No, I was walking our dog, Sophie. We had just gotten her. Or maybe it was our dog, Luigi. Maybe that was before Luigi passed. But anyway, I was walking a dog.
Okay.
And Luke was a toddler. He was home. And Mitchell had gotten into the shower real quick before he was going to go somewhere. And I'm walking around our neighborhood. And all of a sudden, I hear a toddler's voice. And it sounded like Luke's. And I remember, like, running back to our house, and he wasn't in the house, and I sprinting around the block and finding him. He had gotten out and was trying to walk to the park in our neighborhood. And
you had a full-on panic attack.
Oh, Amy. I remember just kind of almost dropping to my knees and being like, he was out here somewhere. Like, I knew he was out because I had heard him, but that fucking fear, I will never forget it. And that was very mild.
So you did not in those 10 minutes run off to a hot body contest or start
I went after
partying with some bros?
Yeah. Okay. I did. Yeah, I had to get a tattoo.
Okay, just checking. When Patsy and John Ramsey were like hanging out and partying together after John Bonet went missing.
Yeah.
Or like when the Smart family decided to throw a kegger after their daughter was taken. Yeah.
You go out. Maybe go out to eat.
So Velez-Mitchell says Casey and Cindy had a very volatile relationship, and the cops thought that maybe Casey wanted to keep Caylee from Cindy. So they're giving her a few chances and a few outs here. They're saying things like, did you stow her away from your mother? But no, she wouldn't budge. The nanny has her, and that's it. They end the interview and they arrest her with child neglect for child neglect.
They have something. And did you catch during her interview, when they're like, "You're a liar. You've lied about everything." She's like, "Yeah, I know I've lied a lot. But this one thing is the honest to God's truth." And she said that so many times. I'm like, "Do you hear yourself, Casey?" Like,
so now we get jailhouse phone calls between Cindy and Casey. And I have the first part of one here that I want to play because you kind of have to hear the tone. All right, let's see if this works.
Casey? Mom. Hey, sweetie. I got arrested on a whim. They're blaming me for stuff that I never would do. They're going to pin this on me.
Casey.
Mom.
What?
No.
I don't know what your involvement is, sweetheart. You're not telling me where she's at.
Because I don't know where she's at. Are you kidding me?
Whose fault is you sitting in the jail? Are you blaming me that you're sitting in the jail?
Not my fault.
What do you mean it's not your fault, sweetheart?
I can't even with listen, the way my mother would react if my mother would burn me down. She would turn me in a heartbeat if she thought I had anything to do with my daughter's disappearance.
yes. Oh my God, yes. Yes.
So she's kind of like, the vibe is, God, Mom. Like, I'm just sitting here and it's all your fault. I need Tony's phone number.
like-
I need Tony's phone number.
Oh, I don't want to talk to you right now. And she's like, "Mom, no." Like, starts the phone call like that. It's like a 14-year-old girl being like, "I want to go to my friend's house, Mom."
It's
You
really
won't let
bad.
me. Like, and her mom, okay, sweetheart, now why are we in jail? We
Yeah,
can
and
do
so
this
Cindy gives
ourselves.
the phone to like a friend of a family, and the
Yeah.
friend is like, Casey, what's going on? And she's like, I can't be upset right now. I have to be composed to talk to detectives. I just can't be crying all the time like you guys want. Can I get Tony's number, please?
Yeah, I want Tony's number. Where's Tony?
So Clint
God.
House is a friend of Casey and Tony's, and he lived with Tony at the time. And he said the cops came, they searched the house, they questioned them, they were shocked. They had no idea any of this was going on. Casey and Tony had just started dating in April of 2008, right? So when does she go missing?
2008. I know she went to court in 2011.
Okay, let me go back. Okay. So 2008 is when she goes missing.
Okay.
So Casey's 22, right? Because what was she, 23? So she's 22.
Yeah, 22.
So she goes missing. They start dating April, May, June. That's it. 2 months and this kid goes missing. 3 weeks into their relationship, Clint says that Casey brought Caylee over. She was super cute.
Yeah.
He talks about how smart she was, how engaged Casey was with her. Caylee was with them like 3 times a week. And he says Casey really seemed like a loving, attentive mother. But then one day, Caylee just stops coming. And no explanation is given. And none is asked for.
You think, okay, so it's an apartment full of like guys in their 20s. None of them are parents. They're not a demographic that's going to be like, hey, where's your kid? You know what I mean?
No.
Because nobody's going to assume, oh, she's completely missing. You just assume she's just not coming anymore.
Right. And I think Clint does say at one point, like, we asked her and she said she was with the nanny. So like, why would they're not going to drill down further on that.
Exactly. Yeah.
So now the cops discover that there was a second and third 911 call the night that they responded to Cindy Anthony's house.
These are all over the place.
Cindy had made 2 other calls to 911 the same day, one saying she found Casey's car and it smells like there's been a dead body in it.
One of the most infamous phone calls.
The other call is, I just found out my granddaughter's been taken. My daughter admitted it. So we talked about that earlier.
Yeah.
So they go and get the car. It's a 1998 Pontiac Sunfire.
And they don't show a Sunfire in the reenactment.
Oh.
They show a Grand Prix. And I was really fixated on that. And that's not usually like me.
We need a RAV4 to solve
this.
Where's
the RAV?
We need. Yeah.
Put a Toyota in there.
So they say the smell was overwhelming. And sure enough, they brought in a cadaver dog and he alerted on the trunk. Now, my mother would say that's junk science. Who cares? But I believe in cadaver dogs.
I do too. Yeah. Especially when they are just looking for remains. There's certain like tracking dogs where I do have a little more problem with, but cadaver dogs, like you said, that's
That's a smell.
a smell. Yeah.
And these are cops. And don't forget, George Anthony was a cop. So, like,
Yes.
he has presumably been around a dead body in his life.
Yes.
You know that smell.
Yes. Everyone I know who has smelled that smell says it just burns into your memory and you don't forget it. I am
Let me
thankfully-
something. I live on, as you know, 68 acres up here on my
Yeah.
in-laws' property. There have been a few summers where an animal was killed or
Oh, yeah,
something
I
like
smell
on
dead
the
animals.
mountain, and you can smell it at my house. And I
Oh.
remember saying to my husband, like, what is that horrific smell?
Ugh.
And they had to go, like, it was like, I don't know,
Decay and-
a fox or something was dead.
Oh,
Do you know what
yeah.
I mean? So
Yeah.
like, even that far away, I'm talking 500 feet away from me. And I
Yeah.
could smell it. So like, I can't even imagine what it's like close up in a trunk.
In the car in the hot Florida sun that's just been sitting
Mm.
in a parking lot. Yeah.
No.
Ooh.
Jeff Ashton is the prosecutor. He tells us they also found a stained area in the trunk, a stain about the size of a child's body.
It's awful.
The trunk had been vacuumed out, but the stain was still there, and they also found a few hairs.
Mhm.
I just wrote, we do not need Dylan Howard, the National Enquirer, dude. No, thank you.
Go away, Dylan. Oh, that's so annoying. Come on.
So
Ivy.
here's the most suspicious part about the car. Cindy first called 911 because Casey had abandoned the car, and then they found it in a tow yard. So they get this call or something in the mail.
Yeah, they
or
get
something.
a notification.
Yeah, that basically says, because it's registered to them, of course, because
Mhm.
Casey's not paying her own bills.
Of course
And
not.
it's like, hey, George and Cindy, your car has been impounded because we found it abandoned in a check cashing parking lot.
Yeah.
And we towed it away. Casey never told that. So I don't know how she's getting around.
I can't what my parents would have done to me had I done this. I can't even tell you. Oh my God.
Mhm.
Oh,
But how is she getting around? Because Uber's not a thing at this
I'm
point,
guessing
right?
boyfriend Tony, honestly.
Maybe.
Or like other people. And, Casey's one of those people that always has a story for everything,
Mhm. So they clean it out and they find a bag of garbage in the trunk. And Cindy is now changing her story and saying that is what created the smell. Now, garbage can smell real bad. If you've ever been
Yes.
in a New York City subway in August in a heat wave, you know exactly the smell I'm talking about. Not the same as a dead body.
Right.
Just
The
not the
garbage
same.
has its own garbagey smell,
Mhm. Kevin Beary is the sheriff and he's questioning Cindy and she's like, oh, it was the pizza that smelled. And then they try to convince Cindy to face the fact that something is suspicious here, but Cindy won't turn. So she has flipped her story. Something has happened between the 911 call and now that she has flipped her story.
God, I would love to be a fly on the wall.
Trying to look at this from a mother's perspective, I'm wondering if she was just like, I can't face the fact that my daughter did this. Like, I just can't face it.
I think so. I really think that, Amy. I think she was going through some major like coping situations because this is just, you had the rug pulled out from under you and your whole world just fell apart. And I can't imagine, and we see George talk about it later in another episode, like coming to terms with the fact that your child has possibly done something to their child has to be just so painful. But
I'm telling you,
Cindy-
there's nothing my mother would not do to me to protect my children. And I think because she would know that no matter what was going on in my brain, that I would want my children protected. But Casey does not have the same love for Caylee.
At all.
It's bizarre to me.
It's very bizarre.
I mean, I'm not some like little precious flower over here that thinks every mother loves their child. I'm aware there are parents who don't love their children in this world. It's terrible, but I'm aware it happens. But like, I just feel she used Caylee as an accessory or something.
Yeah, I agree.
It's weird. And
she's the coldness in which she speaks about her and the detached way she speaks about her. It's almost like it's like her little sibling that she's annoyed that her mom cares about more than her.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
That's a good point. George, don't forget, former cop. Has a lot of background in law enforcement. He asked to talk to the officers alone, and he's like, I don't want this to be true, but something is not right here. I had bad vibes the minute I smelled that car, and I don't want to believe that I've raised someone who would do this to another person. I'm going to say it. I know that George becomes a complicated figure later. Yep. I think this guy is the only adult in the room right now.
I agree. I know. I was going to say something similar later. He is a very complicated person who is very flawed and has his own issues. However, yeah, he was the one. He knew something was up. He knew.
He knows. They go to visit Casey in jail, and there's video of this. And it is a little weird that George starts it with, "Hey, gorgeous, how are you?" I was like,
yeah, I agree.
But everything else seemed normal.
Super
he
normal.
was like, "I want to reach out. I want to hug you. I want to give you the Papa Joe hug. I want to take your pain away. You know, you can tell me anything." He's clearly trying to get her to open up to him.
Yes.
Cindy gets on and cries and says, you know, "Someone said Kaylee's dead today." And Casey goes, "Surprise, surprise."
Another like top infamous true crime moments. Surprise, surprise. What is that, Casey?
Kyla, how do you think I feel? I'm in jail. I've had everything taken from me. I can't do tequila shots on the bar tonight. I have to be in this jail.
Why is that? Sweetheart, calm down.
Mom,
Sweetheart,
leave me alone.
Sweetheart, what do you want me to say?
It's so bizarre. It's so
weird.
bizarre.
She's always like, nobody cares about me. Nobody's worried about my whole life got taken away from me.
This word is overused. Okay, I'm not saying she's a
know.
narcissist, but it is a narcissistic trait when you take anything and turn it to be about you.
Especially
And she's
your
doing
missing child. And
So
you can tell she's pissed that her parents are more worried about Caylee than her. Like, it's crazy. It is crazy.
Her parents are like, "Please tell us what's going on." Like, they are trying to get her to say something.
Oh, yeah. And we're managing emotions. I mean, they're trying to get her to not flip out and, you know,
then
the
she
call,
gets real strange, and she goes, "I need to tell you things, but I know this is recorded."
Yeah, what's that all about?
I don't know. And then Casey says, "In my heart, I know she's okay and not far." And Cindy's like, okay. And I don't blame Cindy for that. Like, she's grasping for any straws at this point.
Yes.
She
keep her
is
talking.
Desperately trying to find out if this kid is alive.
Yeah.
All right. Now they find a random Zanita Gonzalez, this poor woman who's pulled in from Kissimmee. And they're like, "Do you know this? Have you killed this kid? Have you taken this kid?" She's like, "I don't know what any of you are talking about."
Yeah, and she's not even the same age. They said she was older than because Casey said she was like 25 or 26 and she was in her 40s. And
yeah,
what are the odds? I do believe, if I remember, I think Zenaida ended up suing Casey.
Yes. Yep.
Didn't she? Yeah. I don't think it went through. For some reason, I feel like that case got dismissed.
It
right?
did.
Yeah, but I don't blame her.
This is when the cops are like, "Okay, we think she did something to this kid." So she lawyers up with Jose Baez.
Trash.
Ugh. And the contact and the cooperation with the police stops immediately.
Yep.
And I think it's Beth Karras maybe who tells us, like, Jose Baez was not well known. He was not like, he didn't have a ton of experience in high profile trials. Like, I guess he
put
was
him on the map a little bit.
He was kind of well known locally, but like, he wasn't a Johnny Cochran.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Totally.
Or
Mark Garagos, these big time Alan Jackson.
How dare you bring the name Mark Garagos up here?
I wanted to see if you would.
This is a Mark Garagos free zone. That motherfucker.
I know, he's vile. He was just a talking head on something I watched recently. Was it something we covered?
Yeah, it was. I forget where we saw him.
I remember being like, "Why are you here?"
So meanwhile, George and Cindy are the only ones who seem to give a shit where this kid is, and they're out there within their family, because the community cares. They're all out there looking.
Yes.
They had 4,200 people searching at one point, and guess who we see? Tim Miller from the Killing Fields from EquiSearch, which I was very happy to see him.
Such a cool guy.
He's a cool guy. He's a little hero of mine.
He is, and he's a phenomenal person.
If you guys didn't hear, I had Keisha from Pink Shade and Libra Lounge with Keisha to cover the Texas Killing Fields. It was really good because she's from that area and she had a lot of information about like growing up with the lore of those murders. So that is on the free feed. Just go back a little bit and you can find it.
Yeah.
This makes national news now. All of it. The videotaped interviews, the 911 call. Florida has some real loose public
Oh,
laws.
and Amy, don't you remember watching this
records
in real
laws.
time? I remember watching this in real
Yeah.
time because I was in college in this time, 2008, 2009. I was
Mhm.
towards the end, and I have memories of sitting on my couch, studying and having HLN on the TV and just consuming every bit of this. I was obsessed.
Well, I was a bit older than you.
Yes.
My kids were 2.5, 3 years old, and we were at the beach on vacation watching the trial. Now that was in
Trial.
2011.
Yes.
So I'm wrong. They were 5. So at the time she was killed and I was following this case, or she went missing, I should say, they were only like 2.5.
Yeah, you were busy.
I was
You
busy,
had-
but I was watching.
It was everywhere. It was just so
It was
captivating. And
everywhere.
because we had this daily, there's a release of phone calls, videos, everything. Like it was just so captivating.
And you kept waiting for like the twist. Like, what is going to happen here? This kid has to be. I remember thinking, like, this kid has to be found.
Yeah. And, you know, and the circus of the chaos and the Anthony neighborhood and everything, it was just, it pulled you in. It was so good. Not good. That sounds terrible. I shouldn't say
Casey I know what you mean. Casey is released on bail. And placed on house arrest. And Velez-Mitchell says the media just turned on her. And people are at Cindy and George's house just screaming at them. Cindy's out there with her little hammer. Calling people maggots and parasites.
She was ready to swing that hammer. I mean,
She was.
Can you imagine having this in your front yard, though? I don't know.
No.
How do you navigate that?
No. John Ashton tells us that they didn't have a body, but they were building a circumstantial case and they were going to charge her without a body. So they did in October. Jose Baez immediately starts putting out the narrative that she's falsely accused. And then on December 11th, 2008, unfortunately, a body is found. And I have always said in all of my true crime coverage, one person you don't want to hear go, "Ugh," is the 911 operator. And we get a little bit of that here because the guy calls and he goes, we found, it's a utility worker. He went off his little path to take a pee and he finds this human skull and he calls in and she goes, "Oh my God, really?" And you don't want the medics or a 911 person to ever say that to you or your lawyer. You don't ever want your lawyer to be like, "Ooh, what?"
Or your doctor. Yeah.
Or your doctor.
Yes.
So there were there was a large canvas bag with 2 smaller trash bags, and precious Caylee was kind of wrapped up in these bags and had a Winnie the Pooh blanket around her.
It's awful.
Now forensic anthropologists are called in and we meet Dr. G. So what is Dr. G's show?
Did you watch Dr. G, Medical Examiner?
No. Is
I
that
did.
the show, Dr. G, Medical Examiner?
Yeah, it was either on TLC or the Discovery Channel or Discovery Health. It was a Discovery entity, and she would go over cases and do autopsies and talk about it.
Okay,
and then
so she's well respected, or
I think she doesn't do much anymore. That show was more of this time frame, like the early 2000s, 2010s. And then she would do like talking head stuff like this. I don't know that she had a fall from grace or anything, but I am not current on her. But yeah, I remember watching that show. It was really interesting.
Okay. So she says animals scavenge the bones. This is hard.
Oh, I know. It's so awful.
It was really complicated to kind of figure out what had happened here. But she said, the bones had no soft tissue. So they were there for some time. And they do a DNA test, and it is Caylee's body.
Yeah.
The area was only a quarter mile from the Anthony house. It was like literally around the corner. Yeah. Almost like whoever
in
did
the neighborhood
this was just like driving by and just whipped a bag out the window.
Seriously.
It's disgusting.
It's awful.
During the press conference that was held on December 19th, 2008, Dr. G says, because the body was decomposed, we can't say why she died, but we can rule it a homicide of undetermined means. And I was immediately like, whoa, you're ruling it a homicide? But then I'm like, it's clearly a homicide. Like this child did not, like the way that the body was concealed and hidden and wrapped up and put him, like clearly it was a homicide.
Absolutely. And
I was negligent homicide, but like there was.
Yes, and I just saw something about this. I don't know if it was during Avery research, but it was someone talking about how you have to make sure you don't conflate murder and homicide because, homicide is just, a human causing the death of another human. It
Okay.
doesn't always mean it's intentional. And I was like, that is such useful information. And here we are.
That is interesting because I did not know that. So thank
Right.
you.
Same. I didn't either. I feel like I learned that in Avery research.
Mm-hmm. So she says the child was decomposed in the bags, hidden from view. This makes it homicide. We see Cindy crying. She says her heart was ripped apart that day. They get a search warrant for the Anthony house, and the blanket that the bones were wrapped in came from Caylee's room. It was Winnie the
her
Pooh.
bedding set. Yeah.
The laundry bag was sold in pairs, and they find one at the Avery house. Come on, just this alone.
Anthony,
I'm
not
like,
Avery.
Oh, Anthony, I'm sorry. But come on,
Listen,
this alone,
yeah.
the fact that the body was clearly concealed in this home.
Yes, it's crazy. And it's in their neighborhood.
Oh, God. So she's charged with first-degree murder, premeditated.
Yeah. That's a huge charge.
Huge, and it's a huge burden
Yes.
for the state to prove.
Mm-hmm.
So she was tried in the media and found guilty, basically. But Jose Baez is having press conferences almost every day saying she's wrongfully accused. There's stuff you don't know, blah, 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 blah. And then on May 9th, 2011, they begin jury selection.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone knew about this case. So they did not know how they were going to try this case. So they end up having to bring a jury in and sequester them in Orlando.
This would be a nightmare. This would be an absolute nightmare.
To be sequestered in Orlando would be a nightmare.
Oh, I know.
But to also then have to, deal with this.
A child murder trial. Oh, that's getting all this national attention. And it's going to be a long trial. This would be awful.
Yeah. People were lined up at 3 or 4 in the morning waiting to get into this trial. Like it becomes something of a public event.
It's, a more modern OJ trial, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
It was the OJ trial kind of that time because people were waiting outside. The commentary, people waiting to get the lottery
people
tickets.
Were fist fighting.
Yes, we see this guy getting like his ass beat outside waiting for Caylee Anthony tickets.
What's more embarrassing? Like, how can we pile on that you're getting your ass kicked on TV and it's to go inside the Caylee Anthony trial?
Like what is happening? There was like a melee going on.
Go back to school. Do something.
Let's all touch some grass and take a breath. Like, let's not assault each other.
Would we be in line at this trial? 100%.
But we would not. We're both very short. We're going to go low and we're just going to scurry through the front.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Caylee shows up at the trial. Can we talk about this? Because she is a very sexy woman, very beautiful woman, but she shows up looking like my grandmother.
Yep. Her and Jodi Arias.
Mm-hmm. She got the Jodi Arias treatment. Who came first? She did, right?
She
Caylee
did, I think.
Yeah.
Because
this is the gramification of sex pots
and you
at
have
trial.
to sit there like.
But to be fair, I would do the same thing.
I mean, you're going to do what you have to do.
I mean, I'm not sexy at all, but I would scruff myself up even further if I was going to go on trial.
It's just so funny when it's so obvious, right? Yeah. She's doing her hot bod in that infamous blue dress and now this.
The lead attorney in the case is Linda Burdick.
Mm-hmm.
And a key witness that they call first is Keel Marie Cruz. She says when Caylee got pregnant, she wanted to give Caylee up for adoption.
This is so insightful.
But her mother made her keep the baby, and Caylee just did not want to. And the prosecution used this in their argument to be like, see, Caylee Anthony wanted a kid-free life.
Yeah.
And Casey's just like, shaking her head the whole time.
Her face is that like, the whole time. Yeah. It's so annoying.
Now, Jose Baez is going to present his opening arguments.
Whoa.
He says, here's what happened. Cindy was at work. George and Caylee were home. And they found little Caylee drowned in the pool. This is so awful that this documentary is such trash that it would have a reenactment of a child
just not necessary.
Opening that door and going near that pool. Like that is such a traumatic thing for parents who've ever had some kind of incident with the pool.
It's gross. And again, ID, be better. You guys do this a lot. These reenactments are gross.
George yelled at Casey, and said, "Your mother will never forgive you, and you're going to go to jail." So George is like, "Let me do what I do with all of our pets who've died. I'm going to wrap her up in plastic and get rid of the body." This makes no sense.
No. And
No sense.
I will never for a second believe that George would have found that and been like, well, we got to hide the body.
Well, here's what I wrote. Why would George call the police and admit he thinks his daughter killed their granddaughter, but yet implicate himself in a crime when she supposedly died in a horrible accident? Like,
Yes.
this makes no sense. George is a cop. He is I'm sorry, I'm just going to say it. He is a white man in Florida. He could have called the police and said, "Oh my God, my granddaughter drowned in the pool," and he probably would have been okay.
Yes. And I think that's what he would have done, because I don't believe that he wouldn't have tried to get resuscitation for her. I just don't believe that.
No, this is crazy.
And
this
also,
is crazy.
when they're going through the hell of having all these random people, media in their front yard calling them baby killers and screaming at them, I don't feel like he would have just continued to let that go on. Do you know what I mean?
And how would you think this? Why would you think Caylee opening the door, climbing up the pool ladder, falling in the pool, and dying would be harder to explain than her just disappearing with some nanny that doesn't exist?
Exactly. Oh, it's
Okay.
just.
So there were some people who thought that George and Cindy might be involved in this new theory, and so Jose is just piling on in court.
Oh my God,
He says,
really
"Are you
going
ready
for
for
it.
this?
Oh my God.
The reason she learned to lie was started when her father first came into her room at 8 a.m. or 8 years old." And I was like, "What?" I'll never forget this. I'll never forget this at trial.
Same.
We were like,
you
"What?"
could across America, you could hear a pin drop. Everybody was just like, we're really going here.
He says George molested her and she was 13 years old and she could have her father's penis in her mouth that morning and then go to school and act like it never happened. I'm speechless.
I am speechless.
Nancy Grace also speechless here, almost has a stroke on air.
That never happens.
Top mom.
Top mom.
George Anthony is the first witness. Oh, here's an interesting thing too, because at first when I was watching this documentary, I was like, George doesn't seem to react to this. But then we find out that Jose had given them a heads up, or somebody had given them a heads up that this was coming.
Attorney, and they told them, you need to stay stoic. Do not react.
The way I would burn that courtroom down.
I don't know what I would do, Amy. I don't think I could stay stoic. I know me, and I don't think I could.
I know Timmy, and let me tell you, not happening. George Anthony is the first witness. He denies everything on the stand, but weirdly, they don't ask him about the sexual assault, the sexual abuse. They don't ask him about it ever. Cindy says they have knowledge that Jose was going to do this, like I said, and the prosecution brings in recordings of Casey with her dad in jail, and she's telling him, "You're the greatest father. I love you. You're the best grandfather." And I want to say two things about this. Number one is groomed and abused children still can say they love their parents. So that is less compelling to me as a point of proof here than the fact that they never, ever allude to or talk about this secret between them.
Ever.
Yeah. They are on this jailhouse call. Yeah. And she never even says, like, "Dad, you know what happened." Nothing like that is ever exchanged between them to implicate that these two people, or to imply that these two people have a secret, a shared secret.
Yeah, I agree. The context is just not quite there. And the shock and appalling way they had to find this out, it's just, and falsely accusing people of sexual assault is so detrimental for a million reasons.
So this has become one of the underlying questions in this entire case. And this is something that you and I will be digging for evidence on.
Oh, absolutely.
As we go further. Like, is there any, where there's smoke, there's fire? Is there any fire here?
Yeah, we need
That's
to
what
look,
I want to know.
because those are just, and the reason you don't, because that makes false allegations make people not want to come forward and make people not believe people. And I just,
100%.
it's so just irresponsible to throw around false allegations. So we need to find out the truth of that.
So in 2009, Jose Baez also asked George Anthony about this. In 2009, George Anthony had tried to commit suicide. He was in a hotel. He tried to die by suicide. He was in a hotel. He was so devastated over Caylee being. Listen, they try to twist this in court that like George is guilty in his conscience. George probably does feel guilty, but not for the reasons that they think. If God forbid my daughter ever hurt her child, I would be like, where did I go wrong?
Of course.
What did I do? Like there would be guilt, but not the guilt they're talking about.
No, they're making it sound like, he's like, oh, I did this. But no. And I think I believe that he was suffocating in grief, like he says. I believe him. I just do. And their lives were completely falling apart. Falling apart. Yeah. It was rough.
He sobs on the stand. It's really hard to watch.
It was painful, and it almost felt like we shouldn't see it. Do you know?
So now we get into the science of it, and we meet Dr. Voss, who has studied the decomposition of the stain from the trunk. And basically the prosecution, this is like their smoking gun, if you will, is that this is cutting edge technology. And the doctor's like, there's a stain from a decomposing body here. And they have a way that they could test it. It has to do with the gases left behind. It's a whole thing.
It's very sciencey.
They also find hair, and they were Caylee's hairs. Now, this was Caylee's mother's car. So she could have thrown it, many times when my kids were playing soccer, I would throw their stuff in the trunk or a sleepover. So like, that finding the hair there to me is not groundbreaking. However, when they examine the hair, they find what they call decomposition band on it. So hair was connected to a head that was decomposing.
Yes. And they can see this clear line of demarcation on it.
Yep. Dr. Voss also found an unusually high amount of chloroform, and they find out that on the family computer, there had been searches for how to make chloroform. Now, the prosecution argues that this is the premeditation right here, that she was looking up how to make chloroform.
Yeah. Now, I need to know more about that.
Me
specifically, too. Because you need to, like, how was it typed?
Right.
And the whole Cindy of it all, but.
Right. We'll get to that. So Dr. G is on the stand now. She talks about what she has found. And she says, when they found the skull, what was interesting is the mandible, the jawbone, was still attached to the skull. And that's very rare.
Yeah. You don't have any bones that connect. Those are connected with soft tissue.
So they find that it was connected by a piece of duct tape that was over the mouth. And they do this wild reenactment or graphic video in court where they have Caylee's face, and then it dissolves into the skull, and you see where the tape would have been over her. It's so hard. It's
very haunting. It's very haunting. I remember that being on Nancy Grace and everybody just losing their mind over this.
And I think what's so hard for many people in this case, but this is what bothers me especially, is Caylee looked so much like my little girls. Like with the dark hair and the big eyes, like, you look at that and you see, like, just like with Chris Watts, when I see Cece and Bella, like, I'm like, they look just like my girls.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course you do.
It's so heartbreaking to see this beautiful little girl's picture.
It is. And she's someone who is kind of like how JonBenet Ramsey, she's almost lost her, like, people almost don't view her as she was her own person anymore. She's just,
I get
it's
that.
so sad. And she was just, she was adorable. And I really believe she was the center of her grandparents' world.
It's tough.
It's awful.
Their theory, the state's theory, is that Casey rendered Caylee unconscious, put duct tape over her mouth and nose, wrapped her in her favorite blanket, threw her in the trunk, and then got rid of the body. Yeah. So they say the duct tape technically was the murder weapon, and she literally killed her on purpose. Like, that's what they're saying.
Yeah.
Now they have to come up with the why of it all. The prosecution calls Tony. On June 16th, Tony and Casey, go to Blockbuster and rent some movies. Tony said she was absolutely fine.
Totally
and
normal.
I love the way this guy answers questions, because they're like, did she ever cry? Nope. Did she ever say Caylee was missing? Nope. Like, he's telling us. He has an opinion on this.
Yeah, for someone who said that he had no idea anything was wrong, and that anything was wrong. Can you imagine looking back in so many moments where you would be
Yeah.
just horrified?
Yeah, in
horrified.
retrospect, I should have seen this.
Yes.
I should have seen that. Yeah,
When you're just like hanging
absolutely.
all over each other in your new relationship
It's so
phase
hard.
at a Blockbuster, and you know that her toddler's missing. Oh,
Clint is back now, and he says he noticed that Casey was really amping up how much time she spent with Tony at the house. She was there a lot more.
Yeah.
And they were DJs, Clint and Tony.
Club promoters. What a time.
They had a sexy dress contest. Okay, I need to talk about this for 1 second, because this documentary, we got a bunch of fuddy-duddies going, she was grinding against women.
Audacity.
I mean, come on. Really?
who
She's
amongst-
22 out in the club.
Out in the club.
I used to grind against anything that moved when I was 22 and
same.
drunk at a club.
Yes, and I was out.
I never went to a
clubbing at
club
this
in my
time.
life, by the way.
Oh, see,
It's
I was
always
in my
dirty
20s.
bars.
The club in Jersey Shore time, all this, when this was popular, I was at that age. So I was out there.
So did you go to actual clubs? I used to go to bars.
Well, so in Fort Wayne, shout out to Northern Indiana listeners, Pierre's. There's going to be people who know Pierre's. I just know there is. It's a big deal. It was around since the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
And it was this place that had like 4 or 5 different bars in one. You pay one cover.
We had a place like that here. Yeah.
And
in
like the
Scranton.
one bar
Mhm.
was like the hip hop bar. The one had
Mhm.
more like your top 40. Then there was a
Mhm.
throwback karaoke. And they had, when I was at this time frame, I can feel this and I can smell it and taste it. On Fridays, they had dollar you call it's. Any
Oh.
drink you wanted was $1. Debauchery ensues. So I was out there doing all this mess.
We had Scranton had Tinks, which was similar,
Ooh,
but
Tinks.
I would never step foot in it. I don't know what it looked like.
Oh, God.
I was at Whiskey Business, where like all
love
the
that
old men
name.
used to go and drink, and I would just,
See,
yeah.
I did both. I had the Shady Nook. Shout out to the Shady Nook.
Mhm.
Had some Shady Nook nights, but I did love a good Snooki night. We would call them Snooki nights.
No, I was dating a guy who was in a band, and we would just be going to all of these like bars where they would be
they're
playing. It
playing
was
gigs.
yeah, and we used
Oh,
to
I
do
love
the. Did any bars by you have penny till you pee, where you just anything is a penny until the first person breaks the tape and goes in the bathroom?
No, but I love that.
Well,
I
it
would
turned
not win.
into a ruckus because people start opening the exit doors and just pissing out in the alley, and the neighbors complained.
Oh shit!
So that was a problem.
I bet a
All
lot
right.
of people peed their pants too.
So my point is like,
Yeah.
should she have been doing this? No, but
No.
like her grinding against other women has nothing to do with
Correct.
this. It's her
We're
being in the
slut
bar in the
shaming.
first place. Yeah,
There's a
they're
lot of
shaming.
slut shaming
Yeah.
around this,
Yep.
which is they're not one does not have to do with the other. Yeah, she's behaving inappropriately, but like
Mhm.
just because she's grinding on women doesn't mean she's a murderer.
Right.
Yeah.
She's just partying it up, and that's
Yes.
disgusting enough. We don't need to go further than that. It's gross.
Yes.
So they even call a tattoo artist. So okay, this to me is wild.
This is
She-
very telling.
She gets a fucking tattoo. Bella Vita, beautiful life. Your daughter is missing.
And we're going to put that on our shoulder. Okay. Sure, Casey.
That to me, just that to me is like she
I
did
agree.
it.
I agree.
If
That
I
is-
was a juror, I'd be like guilty.
yes, it's
Mhm.
so telling the timing.
It's so brazen. It's so
It is.
brazen.
And Casey's a brazen person.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like I feel like there's a lot of other people where you would be like, that's a coincidence. But
Mhm.
Casey's different. Casey's
Mhm.
different.
Mm-hmm. I agree. So after making their case, the duct tape, the chloroform, the lying, the tattoo, the smell in the trunk, the prosecution rests their case.
Yep.
And now it's the defense's turn. And all Baez has to do is create reasonable doubt.
Mhm.
That's the problem here. We'll talk to Judge Karen about this. Like they
Yes.
overcharged her, right? That's the
Yes.
problem.
Yes, big time. Yeah, because it's so frustrating. I don't know. We'll get into all that later. That's a later problem.
So Dr. Lawrence Kobylinski serves as a consultant for the defense. He's like, listen, jurors are dummies. Just confuse them.
Yeah.
And
It's
this
like
kind of
looking
happened
at
in the OJ case. We had Dr.
Big
Henry
time.
Lee trying to explain DNA, and everybody was like, what? What? Yeah.
That is one that makes me want to flip my desk over when I watch. Ooh, and these people are when Marsha Clark is going over the odds of
I know.
DNA.
I know.
But anyway.
Jose Baez put Cindy on the stand, and she's like talking about how she thinks this is a garbage smell now. And she just wanted the cops to respond quickly. So that's why she said it was a body smell. Sure, Jan.
I don't believe you.
They now rip up Dr. Voss and the fact that he's invented this science. Well, it's still science.
Yes.
You know, Marie
Jose.
Curie invented some science. It's still
Yeah.
science, even when it was new.
Yes.
So he goes after Voss for his joke degree in anthropology. Okay.
What a dick.
They now have
Oh.
experts testify that chloroform could be found in cleaning supplies. I mean, it could be found anywhere.
It's in
And
a
it
lot
was
of stuff.
enough to be, he was chipping away at those points of interest.
Causing that doubt.
Cindy says, I looked up chloroform on the home computer because I had a bamboo situation. I was really looking for, she says something
Like-
else, but she claims that she typed in CHL and it came up.
Yeah, she was looking for chlorophyll.
Prosecutor says, excuse me, you were at work and we have your records that you were at work. And Cindy's like, I don't know what to tell you. I was in two places at the same time.
Cindy, stop
Okay.
it.
Okay.
That is one of the
Okay.
moments in this case that just makes my head explode.
And-
Cindy, what are you doing?
And here's my problem with this documentary.
Yeah, okay.
You have Cindy Anthony sitting down for an interview with you.
Oh,
Why do you not ask her about this now?
yeah,
Like,
you're
ask
right.
her why she changed her story. Ask her, you know what I
Yes,
mean? Like, we
Yes,
need Andrea Canning in here to go
Mhm.
at her.
you're right. She would dig in. Andrea, Keith, get the whole crew in there. Get the
Yep.
whole Dateline crew
Yep.
in there. Josh
Yep.
Mankiewicz. Because, and when she's like, well, I don't know. Yep, that's what it was. I was worried about it.
So now they go after the crime scene and the guy who found the skull and he had put a stick in the eye socket or something. And
Yeah.
he's like, look, I didn't know what it was.
Who
I'm
wouldn't do
sorry.
that?
I was trying to pick it up and I didn't want to touch it.
Well, and also, okay, so we're saying that a stick touching it contaminated the evidence. It's in the woods. It's in mud, debris, plant, vegetation. Like,
Mhm.
okay, no, he didn't touch
Mm.
it with his hand.
Mm-mm.
Ugh.
Are you ready for this now?
Yes.
Now we get Dr. Werner Spitz. And we've
Werner
seen
Spitz.
him before because he believed Michael Peterson was innocent. Okay. That's all I want to
did.
say.
And Grizzly Man.
Mm-hmm. He testified in the JFK case. He testified in the OJ case. And not on the right side, guys.
No, he's everywhere.
He said it was impossible to say where the duct tape was. And Spitz says there was no additional evidence that the duct tape covered her mouth. He said there would have been DNA on the duct tape and there was none. And and he also thought Michael Peterson was innocent. So there you go.
Yeah, and isn't he one that has been famously
Me too.
was he or
I
was
don't know. I'm
he-
making stuff up right now.
Or no,
Let
I
me
might be
look.
thinking of Henry Lee. Didn't one of
Oh,
them get taken down because they were full of shit?
Yes.
I don't remember
think-
which one it was.
I think it was Henry Lee.
Yeah, because I know one of them they had lied about
Mhm.
so much stuff.
Yeah. We'll talk about him
Mhm.
further on our deep dive because I have a lot to say about this guy.
Oh, big time, yeah.
Okay. So the prosecution argues that this body was out in 90-degree heat underwater
Yeah.
at times. Like all the residue of the tape and the DNA on the tape could have been washed away.
Absolutely.
The defense concludes that the death should not be ruled a homicide. There's just not enough evidence for it. And then they focus on Casey's behavior. And what they do is they bring up all those friends we saw testify in the beginning. And they're all like, honestly, she was a good mother. Sure, because Casey knows how to act in front of people.
Yes.
She
I
is a
don't
chameleon. She will act how she thinks she will
Yes.
be rewarded for.
You're so right about that. And Casey she has enough wherewithal that she's not going to be a bad mom in front of people.
She's a
Casey is
master
someone who's
manipulator.
100%. She knows what she's doing.
Mhm.
Yeah, she has been
Mhm.
putting on a show, I feel like, in many aspects of her life for a very long time. This isn't new to her.
She was pretending to work at Universal
That's what I'm
Studios for
saying.
2 years.
Yes, and took detectives with her to go there, and with her whole chest was like, "Yep, hi coworkers." Like that's
I need an
saying
interview with
a
those
lot.
coworkers, those
I will.
quote coworkers, just the
People
people
who
who
were there
were
that
in the
day?
hallway that day.
Oh, and that security guy that had to let her in and be
Yeah.
like, "I don't know what's happening." Oh,
So they never talk about the sexual abuse. There's no evidence to support it. He also never mentions the drowning.
ever
So
again.
I don't know. Okay. Closing arguments are basically like by the prosecution, like who benefited from Caylee being gone? Casey did.
Yes.
She was able to live this life that she had always wanted.
Yes.
Baez makes his closing
yeah.
statement, and he says, or Beth Kara says he was impressive in his closing. He really argued that, there's not enough evidence here to prove it.
Mhm.
And during his closing argument, he showed a picture of Caylee opening the sliding doors to the pool.
He knew how to put on a good production. He really did.
You did.
It's
So the
infuriating.
jury now has to decide, is this first degree murder? And they deliberate for only 11 hours, and they find her not guilty of aggravated child abuse, not guilty of aggravated manslaughter, not guilty of first degree murder.
I just got goosebumps again when you said that
Everyone
out
is
loud.
stunned.
People were fucking appalled.
Even the judge, Belvin Perry, was like, what? Did I
The
read this
judge
right?
is
I have to
like,
read this 15 times because it doesn't make sense to me.
The judge.
He's
Oh my
like,
God.
there was enough evidence for one of those charges at least.
It's wild. Do you remember this? I remember being just
I almost died.
gobsmacked.
Yeah.
Yes.
When was that? I want to find out when that verdict came in. When did the Caylee Anthony verdict come in?
It was just horrifying.
July 5th, 2011.
Man.
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 She was found guilty, Kyla, so you can sleep at night on 4 misdemeanors, okay?
Oh, good.
Lying to the police, basically. And Cindy thinks the verdict was fair. It really
Cindy.
was. I prayed to God that God would sort this all out, and look what happened. He rendered his verdict. God was on that jury, and he not guilty.
Well, he was busy. He was not getting Robin Brown a house that day.
No. George says Jose put on the best show, and unfortunately, the people who put on the best show, they win.
It's true, and he so successfully pointed doubt in the science. He did that very well, and that's unfortunate because I don't know. It's like people latch to that. They latch to it.
You know who we needed here? Creighton Waters.
Oh, yes.
Oh
man, it's just so frustrating.
So Jose has a press conference, and he's like, "I saved a life today."
Shut up.
Okay. Nancy Grace
Kratz
says, somewhere out there, the devil is dancing tonight.
That's a Nancy. Top mom.
Russ was an alternate juror. We meet him, and he says he got death threats after the verdict. And he says, the problem here is it was all circumstantial, and we didn't feel comfortable condemning her to death. So this was the thing. Prosecutors were seeking the death penalty. That's where they overreached, I think.
Yes, they shouldn't have done that. That's a big deal.
Yep.
Asking to sentence someone to death is such an undertaking, and asking for jurors to live with that on their conscience without a ton of concrete evidence and a lot of circumstantial evidence. That's really hard.
I'll be very honest. I'll be very honest. I don't think I could have sentenced her to death on what they presented.
No, that's
I really don't.
exactly.
I would have found her guilty and put her in jail.
Yep.
I don't know if I could have done the death penalty.
I agree.
Because I don't believe in it anyway. So it would have to be an extreme example.
Yes. Yeah.
And
they really dropped the ball on that.
Yeah.
So bad.
The prosecutor says the media coverage skewed the jury panel. So he makes this point, like most of the people we interviewed to be on the jury already thought she was guilty, and so they couldn't serve. So who does that leave? That leaves people who saw all this media coverage and still thought she was innocent. So we had to change their minds how hard that was going to be.
Yeah, you don't often meet a Caylee Anthony defender. I don't know that I've ever encountered one, actually.
I don't think I've ever encountered one. Well, maybe we'll get some comments on YouTube where I get some of the worst comments I've ever read. So maybe.
Well, yeah, that's fun.
She's sentenced to 1 year for each misdemeanor, but she's already been in jail for 3 years. So she gets out in 10 days. 10 days. July 17th, 2011. Here's the fallout. She doesn't really talk with her parents. She lived with one of her attorneys for a while. She received sanctuary in a church compound. In January 2013, she appeals, and 2 of her charges are reversed.
Well, good.
Zenaida Gonzalez sues her, as does Tim Miller in EquiSearch, which I thought was cool.
Yes. The resources that were wasted.
She files for bankruptcy. Now, this is where shit gets interesting. In her bankruptcy filing, there is some testimony from a gentleman named Dominic Casey. Dominic Casey was a PI who worked for Jose Baez, and he says, by the way, now this is according to Dominic Casey, in an affidavit in the bankruptcy filing, Caylee Anthony was under Jose Baez's spell. She would have done whatever she could have, and she was banging him to pay her legal bills.
Yep.
When you think about it, how was she paying these legal bills? I assume Cindy and George were doing it, but I don't know if that's true.
Yeah, footing the bill. No, I don't think so because and I do remember from stuff. I think Cindy and George were really struggling financially at this time.
Okay.
Because we'll get into it more in the deep dive, but George had some problems with gambling addiction.
Okay.
So they were going through it. So I doubt they could have afforded a big defense attorney for her. And I know he wasn't a big ticket defense attorney at this time, but still, there's, I think, multiple witnesses about them having this arrangement.
Dominic Casey says he was hired to go find Kaylee's body, not to find her alive. So he believes that Jose Baez knew that she was dead right from the start and where she was, pretty much. And Dominic also says he's the one who gave them the pool idea.
So
once this goes public, Caylee Anthony and Jose Baez emphatically deny it. Cindy says, okay, so now they sit Cindy and George down at the end of this documentary and they're like, we're not going to press you real hard because we're just glad to have you here. So why don't you just tell us your version of events?
Yeah.
Cindy says, on June 16th, it seems like Caylee drowned in the pool and Casey panicked. I felt like it was an accident and she panicked, which is why she lied. So she keeps repeating this, like, you know how you get when you panic with something. And she just panicked and that's why she lied. And she says Jose Baez did talk about the pool drowning to her privately. And Cindy says, I do talk to Casey from time to time. And we're maybe reconnecting. And she says, I have to forgive her because if I don't, I can't live with myself. Now I want to talk about this for a second.
Yes, let's.
I understand what she's saying. I do, but I also think, like, if my daughter, God forbid, killed her child,
Oh, I know.
I agree that as a mother, I would have to find forgiveness somewhere in my heart for her, right?
Yes.
But I couldn't do that if she was skirting responsibility. If she was in jail saying, yes, I did this, it was a horrible accident, blah, 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 blah. Much easier for me to find forgiveness for her.
Yeah.
Not this.
There's never been any. And, like, very good point. Forgiveness sometimes is for you too, because you need to have that peace in your life.
Yeah.
You need to be able to heal. And that's very therapeutic.
Yeah.
But Casey falls into a category of some of these other lovely ladies we've met recently, the Mackenzie Sharilla especially, where there's no accountability and ownership of any wrongdoing. And just the quite opposite, actually. Like, how dare you even suggest that I would do that? And that is where I would struggle too.
Yeah. George Anthony does not believe that happened. He says, I think my daughter would have called 911 or she would have said something. She was raised by a cop.
Yeah.
When you're raised by a cop, you're not taught to be afraid of 911. And you're a white person in Florida. You're going to call 911, period.
Yes.
And I know I keep saying that, but there are documentaries that we have covered where you can see why people in that community might have a complicated relationship with the police.
Yes.
That is not the case here with the Anthonys.
No.
So he
and
says,
it's like,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to say that Cindy talking about her panicking and like, you just panic. Okay. We're not talking about, hey, mom and dad, I accidentally got into a car accident or I hit the garage door or like, we're not talking about that. And that really bothered me how she said it that way.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
If the day that Luke was missing for 8 minutes, right?
Yes.
If that had, God forbid, ballooned into something bigger and you couldn't find him, who's the first person you're calling? After 911. After 911.
After 911 in Mitchell's home, I'm probably going to call my mom.
There you go.
Yeah.
I'm going to call my mom. My mother would be the first person I would call.
Because I know that my mom is going to come to me or she's going to help start. I'm going to call my mom and my dad.
If you have a quote unquote traditional relationship with your parents, when you're panicked, you're calling them.
Yeah. Absolutely. Very good point. That's still who I call first if I'm in that situation. You're really
Mhm.
right about that.
I mean, it's just
And to hide it, and don't you think, because they don't get into this a lot on this series, I know the others do more. Casey was, quote, managing her own investigation. Okay, hypothetically.
what?
Wouldn't you think, you remember all that?
No, I can't
Oh,
wait to
yeah,
get into
that's
it
one of
because I'm
her
going to light things
tidbits.
on fire. Okay.
I'm like, she was doing her own investigation,
Oh,
Amy.
okay.
Okay, so wouldn't
Like
you think?
Scott Peterson trying to find the real killer?
Yes. Yes.
And OJ? Yeah.
Totally. And
Mhm.
wouldn't you think you would call your former law enforcement father? Or if you're 30 days in, don't you think at some point you'd have a breaking point where you're going to have a total meltdown and call your parents hysterical and be like, this is what's going on?
Yes, 100%.
Oh, it just pisses
Casey
me off.
has gone to her parents about everything traditionally. Even the hard conversations of I'm pregnant and I'm not telling you who the father is. So it's like why she at the most difficult time in her life, why she would not go to them. I have no idea.
Yes. And everybody's had to have hard conversations like that with their parents. It's just
George
so mad.
says in the months leading up to Caylee's death, Caylee would sleep for like 10, 12, 13 hours at a time. And she had dark circles under her eyes. Now, I will say when my girls were small, they had dark circles under their eyes frequently, and it was from allergies.
Oh, big time.
So,
allergies,
like, that's, he's saying, like, oh, she, he's drawing a conclusion there that's not necessarily true.
Yeah.
He thinks maybe Casey was drugging her to make her sleep. And he says Casey's friends were on drugs. They were dealing in Xanax or Xannies, as they're known as. And George thinks Casey gave her something and Caylee didn't wake up. And then she panicked. He does not talk to his daughter. He says he'll never talk to her again. He says justice to him is to have his daughter behind bars and for her to suffer like Caylee did.
And then while Cindy's just like, yep. I don't get it.
The Anthonys are still married. George says no one can hurt us. Belvin Perry, the judge, says, and he has the last word here, and he says, there's only one person who knows what happened. And we will only know what happened if Casey ever speaks, and even then we can't believe it. And now we learn that the Florida laws have changed. Anyone guilty of neglect that doesn't report a child missing faces a felony conviction now.
That's fair.
So, like I said, in our deep dive, we are going to include Caylee Anthony, Where the Truth Lies from 2022 on Peacock, and Caylee Anthony's Parents, The Lie Detector Test 2024. We're also, and this will be every week, we're doing one of these. We'll also do the deep dive and then our feedback episode and also true crime headlines. So you could join by clicking the link in the show notes right now. Here's what I need to investigate. I made a little list.
All right.
Okay.
Ooh, fun.
During our research that we're going to be conducting, I need a definitive timeline. I need to know exactly who knew what and when and like I need to know because this documentary does not tell us. I need to know what they think. Give me that day. Give me the day and tell me exactly what happened. Okay.
Yeah.
I need to know, could this have been an accident? And Casey is covering up the accident. Casey caused the accident, but now is covering up. So she meant to put her to sleep. She gave her too much. The kid died. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
What do George and Cindy know is what I need to know as well. As well as all of the dynamics in that household.
The family dynamics. I am obsessed with finding out about these family dynamics because there's so much we're not hearing.
And then finally, Kyla, I need to know, why is Caylee Anthony such a lying liar who lies?
Oh my God.
What's broken in there? What's going on?
What happened? Yeah. What? And, well, is she still, she's a legal consultant, right? Isn't that what she's doing now?
I don't know what she's doing now, and I don't want to look ahead.
Yeah, I'm not going to look ahead, but I think.
But I do know she popped up on TikTok, and TikTok collectively was like, no, thank you.
Absolutely not.
And she's out. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's it. That's the end of our coverage.
Oh, it's just such an upsetting, infuriating case. And
I hate her. I
hate her. I am fascinated by her parents and their relationship. I really am. I have so many questions. And I would love to get an honest, like, one-on-one interview with both of them. You know what I mean? Like, George isn't going to hear what Cindy says, and Cindy's not going to hear what George says because
almost
I just
like hooking them up to a lie detector.
Weird.
Guys, this is, I know for a lot of you, this is like a monumental case. This is a watershed case, if you will.
Yeah.
So we need to know your thoughts. So let us know in the
Yes.
comments. If you're watching on YouTube, let us know in the comments
Yes.
what you think happened.
Yeah.
If you're listening on Murder Club, let us know in the comments. What do you think? What's going on here?
Yeah. What do you think happened? Because I know there's a few big prevailing theories that most people have, and I love discussing theory on this case.
I do
It's
too.
fun.
I do too.
You know, I had one of my coworkers the other day, never heard of this.
Oh,
And she started Googling it and was obsessed and kept coming back over to me and being
Okay.
like, oh, did you know this?
one of my daughters yesterday, we were all in the kitchen, the three of us, and Samantha and I were like talking about, I'm like, oh, I'm going to be doing Caylee Anthony this month, you know, and Samantha's like, oh, I can't wait. And Penelope goes, who's Caylee Anthony? And we're like, girl, sit down. Educate her.
Yes. Isn't it? It's always kind of exciting when you find someone that doesn't know too, because then you're like, hello, captive audience.
It's just, I want justice for Caylee so badly.
Yes.
So badly. This kid fucking deserves that.
Yes.
And it makes me so angry that it hasn't been served. Because I guess we're just, well, she's not guilty. So I guess we're just like, doesn't matter.
All done.
Doesn't matter what happened to her. This beautiful child is dead.
She was a doll. She was beautiful. And what a tragic, and her body having to be in the woods. That just really bothers me. That close to home. That's so awful.
Agree.
Yeah.
Agree. All right, guys. Like I said, if you want to follow us on this, please join us. If you can't, that's fine too. Yeah. A great way to support the show is to leave a 5-star review if you like it, or share it with a friend. And stay tuned, because later this month, Becca and I are doing the Idaho murders, and Kyla, it's going to be so hard for me.
I'm very worried about you two. I was listening to Jody Weber yesterday talking about some new Brian Koberger stuff, and I was thinking about you two.
We're going to cry through it together.
No, I'm worried about
and if you want some lighthearted stuff, Becca and I also on Fridays are going to be doing Monsters of God, which is the new snake and reptile crime syndicate from Eric Good, who did Tiger King and Chimp Crazy. So
I've been getting more snake videos in my reels, and I think that might be because of that. Because
I cannot tell you the response we had to Blackfish.
I saw. I know. I can't watch Blackfish, but
going crazy over this whole Blackfish situation.
It's a movement.
If you guys have not watched that documentary, it was seminal to my adolescence, even though it was only out 10 years ago. Little baby Amye in her 30s. Really, it just changed the way I look at a lot of things. And
it is. It's eye-opening, and
it's a well-done documentary.
It is well-opening. I watched it once, and I don't think I can ever watch it again. But I listened to you guys. You guys did a beautiful job.
All right, Kyla, thank you for joining me. This is going to be, we are going to go deep on this.
We are. We've been wanting to do this since the inception of us working together.
I mean, if you guys thought that we went deep on Making a Murder and the Avery family, and Maura Murray, who we just became obsessed with.
Yes.
Get ready. By the way, what's his name? The author that we read for Maura Murray. James Renner? James Renner?
I almost said Jeremy again, but it is James. Jeremy's the actor. Yeah.
His new book came out, Amy Bradley.
It did finally come out. Oh my God.
I feel like I might need to
I kind of want to read it. I'm just curious to see
He's not a bad writer. I've said this before. He's not a bad writer.
But I wonder what stories we'll get about him.
Yeah. And how cool he is. All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening. We really appreciate you. And we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.